Welcome back. In this video, we are going to actually create the board in the database. And that is something that you can do yourself already because you have seen how to create a user and also how to update him. So now you have to make a connection between the two and use that knowledge in order to create the board. So it's going to be very similar. We already have the image of the board. We have the name of the user. We have the name of the board. So name of the board created by is the name of the user, and then assigned to for now will only be the user. So later on we will of course adjust that, but for now it's going to be enough if we just have the user who created the board as being assigned to. The rest will pretty much be the same as signing up a user, but not just signing him up, but actually updating him. So I think you can learn more from the update class rather than the creation class. So the my profile activity, I think here you can learn a lot more about what we need to do regarding, for example, uploading a user image. We're going to do a very similar thing to upload a board image, and also when updating something. Well, I think let's just get started. You can of course try to build all of that yourself. So let's go over to the create board activity and start by creating a new variable, which will be private var mBoard image URL, which will be a string that will be empty for now. So we have the selected image URL, but we also need to know the board image URL. So if there is a URL for the image already, we need to know that, because we of course want to have a board image, but we just want to use a new board image if there is not one selected here in the selected image file URL. All right, so that's step number one. Then we need to go ahead and create a function which actually creates the board. So private fun create board, and here we just go ahead and, for now, as I said, assign the current user to the assigned user array list. So assigned users array list is an array list of strings. So it's what we need in the board here. So this assigned to, and I'm just going to assign the current user. So assigned users array list dot add, and here get current user ID. Now for this of course to work, this has to be an array list, even if it's an empty one. Okay, so that is how we create the board. Step number one. Step number two is we prepare the board information, so the board object. So we create a new board object, which will be of type board. And here we need to first of all get the board name. And as we are in the create board activity, we will get it from, of course, our activity create board. So here we have this edit text, which says board name as the hint, and that's the one we get the data from. So from that one, we get the name of the board. So let's go ahead and use that in our create board function. So here et board name dot text to string will be our board name. Then we need to pass in the image, so mBoard image URL, and then the m username, and then assigned users array list. Okay, so the username is going to be the current user. So when creating a new board, the user who is creating the board is of course the one who is the creator of the board. So created by will be the current user. All right. So now we can do the actual creation of the board in Firestore. So Firestore class dot create board, and here we need the brackets create board. Here we needed to pass the activity, so it's going to be this, and we need to pass in the board, so it's going to be the board. So you can see this create board function just prepares everything to then pass it to this create board function inside of our Firestore class, which does the actual Firebase stuff, which does the actual creation of the collection and then storing it in the cloud. Now we also, of course, need a function to upload an image, because we want to upload the board image to the storage as well. Okay, so let's create a function for it. Private fun, upload board image. And here we show the progress dialog first of all. And I'm going to use the resources here. So the ones that we prepared, it's going to be resources, get string, r string, please wait. All right, so as we've done before. Then we need the reference, the storage reference. So we can pretty much get that from the update function here, where we update the image. So upload user image. So you can see it's pretty much the same code that we need. So what we can do is actually copy that and make adjustments to it. So create board activity here. Let's check. First of all, we need the storage reference for the instance here, and it's not the user image, but it's the board underscore image. And here board underscore image is how I'm going to call it. So this is the name of the image, right? And get file extension will be this, and here we have called it mSelected image file URI. Let's see, it's this one here at the very top. Okay, the same name, so that is good. We use the same name in both cases. This makes our copy and pasting a lot easier now. Then we have to put the file, and it's this file that we have in the URI, which we have selected on the phone, right? The user has selected an image, and then we want to put that file onto our storage, so the Firebase storage. And then we have an add-on success listener. We get a task snapshot from it, and then we know where the image will be stored. So Firebase, let's call this one board image URL, will just be the, and actually that's a long name, too long name for a tag. Board image URL is fine. Task snapshot will give us the download URL. Then we can take that and store it in our board image URL. And then instead of updating the user profile data, we can create the board. So create board is called. And create board, by the way, is this function, which then calls the Firestore class create board. Okay, so uploading a board image, we also create the board, of course. So then add-on failure listener. If we get an exception, well, here we're just gonna say make text this exception message and hide progress dialog. So it's pretty much the same code. There are only some minor changes. Of course, we need to change the function that we want to call here. Now at this point, we can add an on-click event when the user clicks create board. So when the user presses the plus button and then clicks create. Okay, so it's inside this create board activity because that's the activity name, right? And then we have the IV board image where we select an image. That's good. So this is pretty much the preparation. And now we can go ahead and create the actual board. So button create was the name of the button. And we add an on-click listener here in which we first of all check if the selected image is null or not. So if selected image file URI is not null, then we want to upload the board image. And inside of upload board image, we also create the board, right? And then else, we want to show the progress dialog. So show progress dialog. And here we are also going to say, please wait. And of course, we want to create the board here. So create board. Okay, so inside of upload board image, we also create the board, right? We also call create board, but only if uploading the image was successful. So basically, we're saying, okay, let's select an image, and then we enter a board name. And if that was successful, we create then the board. And once we click create, only then we do the actual uploading and storing everything, right? So Once we select it, it's just there, right? It's just inside of our selected image file URI. It's just going to be there. And of course, it will be displayed inside of our UI element itself, right? Inside of this image view. But then the upload process happens once we click the create button. And that's pretty much it. If we don't have selected an image or didn't select an image and we click create, it's still going to create a new board, but it's just going to use the default image that is there. Or to be more precise, it's just going to use an empty string here. It's not even going to be the default image. Okay, at this point, we can test it. All right, so there we are. Let's go ahead and create a board. Let's first create the board without image. Board without image. Create. Please wait. Board created successfully. Now let's go ahead and check it out. So let's refresh this page here and see if we now have a new collection here. So we should have a new collection. And we can see there it is. It says boards. Now let's see. You can see we get a unique weird number, such a random value here for our board because we didn't add any name for it specifically. And then inside of this board, you can see it's assigned to, and this number YQQHMJJ, let's look at that. YQQHMJJ. So it's the user ID that we have assigned this to. It is created by the username, which is Homer. And then the image is an empty string here. So we don't have an image for it. So we will just use the default image, right? And we have the name here, board without image. That's the name of the board itself. Now you could of course argue that created by Homer is a risky one because it just takes the username of the current user. It's not taking the actual user name from the assigned to value. So we would then have to of course read the assigned to value. So read this number or this value here and then read the name from that one because the name could change anytime, right? But that's going to be fine for now. But overall, you can see the board is created and that works. Now let's go ahead and create an image or create a board with an image. So let's click the create button, then select an image here. All right, so I'm going to use an image from here. Select this photo, give it the name, board with image. So I'm going to call it stupid name, but still good enough. And now let's see if this new board was created. We see board created successfully and it's there. All right, so there it is. We also have this image here. So let's get this whole image and put it in there. And we can see the image is there as well. Okay, so now you can see how you can create boards. I hope you managed to get some of this done by yourself. It was a lot of copy and pasting or reusing what we have done before, but it's still good practice to just try it yourself. All right, so thanks a lot and see you in the next video.